Hi everybody, I'm Andrew Roberts from the Great Property Meet, and I'm here in part 3 of the series A to Z of Property Strategies with Mr. David Phenomenal Clouter.
You're very kind, Mr. Andrew Marvellous Roberts.
Well, thank you very much. Now, last time we did A's, and I think we said at the end of the last video we finished the A's.
We did. So what comes after A, remind me?
B.
Or not to be?
Oh, that's good. That is the question. So do we have some B strategies?
We do, and they're B good. Backwards rent to rent is the first one.
Sorry, say that again. I've not heard of that one.
Okay, so it's nothing particularly sophisticated.
Teach me.
Rent to rent is kind of flavour of the month.
Absolutely.
And that kind of thing where we take on a property, we manage it if you like, and we collect the difference in the thing. But there is always the rent to rent customer, the person from whom we are renting. And backwards rent to rent is that you've got a property which is, you're too busy or you're tired of it or something, and you give it, I would give my property to you, I'd rent it out to you so that you could do the rent to rent strategy with my property. So that would be a backwards rent to rent, if you like.
So I have actually seen something like this. There was a great video on the Baker Street Property Meet YouTube channel that Ranjan Bhattacharya did. It's an awesome channel. Recommend you like and subscribe that one. If you haven't already liked and subscribed this channel, and press the bell icon for our next video, of course. So that was a great video that was there. I might even drop a link to it just up here in this corner of the video, and that'll help you find that video on that channel, because that channel's got hundreds of videos. But I get what you mean now. So this is effectively the landlord letting out his property. Basically, tired landlord. Doesn't want the hassle of dealing with the customers anymore, the tenants, fed up of it, and just wants the cash flow to come in.
Yes, not necessarily.
That's smart, actually.
The distressed landlord, the landlord might have 50 properties in London and one in Northumberland, so he might just let that one go. It might be something that isn't in the core area. There are many reasons why you might want to do that.
Why it would work. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So I've just learned something. And as David explained it, I actually realised I had come across it before, but it was...
Different name.
Well, it wasn't even put out as a strategy. It was just, this is something that you might consider. Brilliant idea, David.
Thank you.
Have we got any more Bs then?
Yes, in the A's, we were messing around in the attic, and now we're going down into the basement. And,
so what's the strategy here?
The strategy is to add more square feet or square meters to your property. The property has got to be quite high value, because you can whack on an attic for a relatively small amount of money, but with basements, first of all, you've got to make sure the thing on top doesn't collapse. And then you've got all that earth to get rid of, and soil and all that kind of stuff. And that's a lot of labour. We're talking basically labourers with wheelbarrows, because there's no easy way you can't get a JCB into the front room.
Well, I look at this, and something that I've done is remove chimneys.
Right.
And if you remove chimneys but leave the chimney on the roof, you need a structural engineer. Please do it properly, because the last thing you want, and you can see there's videos and photographs on YouTube of chimneys that have fallen down into houses.
Yes.
There is a couple of tons of brick above your head. Now, if we're going down and we're leaving the house in place, there's probably 1,000 tons of weight and load-bearing structure above you as you're digging from underneath. So,
absolutely. So
is this an easy strategy?
We absolutely need, it is if you're a structural engineer, but we absolutely need to make those calculations, and everything has to be done very, very precisely, and you must use a contractor that's got a lot of experience and a lot of track record, and just say, show me any houses that have collapsed, and he'll say, oh no, I haven't. Then you can
I would describe this as a high-risk strategy.
Yes.
I would also describe it as a strategy potentially with future problems if you have not screened your contractor really well, because if you've got a builder who doesn't tank the property well, because you're underground, when it rains and it lands on the ground above, it soaks into the subsoil, and then it comes in through the walls, because water tries to find the lowest level. And if you've got a gap in your tanking, you haven't got a tank anymore that the basement's in. You've got a swimming pool underground.
Absolutely, which some people might say adds value.
I have seen that.
There are other things that I've come across in central London when you've got your little Muse house or something. They might even want to go down 2 levels.
Yeah.
That's going to annoy the neighbours, and all these high-profile film directors and people are going to be suing each other about this, and there's going to be litigation going on. Sometimes they're allowed to build out under the pavement as well to get a bit more space there. If you do that, it's very, very foolish indeed to put the skip for the builder's rubble on the pavement that you've just excavated. I've seen that before, where a sort of sinkhole is created and the skip just goes down. So there are a lot of things to watch, a lot of potential things that can go wrong, a lot of value that can be added if you're in, like, central London, for example.
Yeah. Well, I would also add at this point, because I like to do my checks and balances on these things, there is a thing called the Party Wall Act. And because you are going down and you are likely to be less distance away from the neighbouring properties than the law permits, unless you have a very small basement or a very wide property, you need to comply with the Party Wall Act, not just from the point of view of, oh, I need to do it, but I'm paying cash so I don't need to. If you ever sell the house, you will need it. Building control will request that. Any mortgage company that lends on it will want to see that you have complied with the Party Wall Act, served the appropriate notices. So this is actually quite a complex strategy and quite high risk, in my opinion.
Yes.
Agreed?
If your property is detached, you won't have that issue. But yes, you run.
I wouldn't do this in the north of England either, because we covered this on attic conversions, where for every £1 you spend on this strategy, in the southeast, you might only add 2 to the price instead of 5. Whereas in the north, for every £1 you spend, you might only add 10 pence worth of value. So you could be losing money. So you better need the space if you're going to do this in the north.
And in principle, with all the works that you're doing to your property, whether it's a new kitchen, a new bathroom, a conservatory, an attic, a loft, or whatever, basement, you need to look at how much it's likely to add to the value of the property, because it might end up as just a vanity project.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
That's always a danger.
So let's move on from basements, because they sound...
They're gloomy and dark and dank and everything.
Have we got something a bit more bright and sunny?
I think we have. Let's go to beach huts. And,
well, you don't get much sunnier than a beach, do you?
Something of a contrast.
So how does this work then?
Well, we own these and we rent them out, if you like, and it's quite possible to do so. Again, in the south, a beach house in the south is probably costs more than a terraced house in the north. I have
seen a few at that.
So not for the faint-hearted. No. And sometimes as well, the sea can come in and sweep them all out to sea, and then what happens? Is it possible to insure against that kind of thing? You often find they all got smashed up by high seas and that kind of thing.
I'm not liking this strategy,
global
David.
warming thing and the rising, absolutely, the rising things is. Even owning a house in a seaside town is probably risky. So beach houses should be seen in that context. And although there's a sense in which it's a low-risk strategy, if the seas are going to get rougher and if the tides are going to get higher, then again, it might not be something to
Your asset might not be an asset. It might be a floating ship if it flips upside down.
Quite possibly. And also, it's only going to be valuable in the summer months. I mean, I've never met anybody who goes to their beach house in November or December or January.
I'm not liking this strategy. No. Shall we move on? Is there another strategy? Come on, there's got to be something a bit more happy and,
Well, when I go to the seaside, I go into the old B&B, don't you, the guest house with the landlady.
I suppose that could be a strategy.
That could be one in itself, couldn't it, really?
Perfect. Let's go for that then.
That's a good one. With people often retire, don't they, with a sort of romantic notion of how lovely it'll be to operate a B&B, although actually staying, is nicer. But it's a full-on thing. So this is the first thing to know, that if you're retiring, the idea is to take it a bit easier, not to be up every morning 7 days a week at 6 a.m. doing the bacon and eggs and the sausages and that sort of thing. That is a bit of a thing.
Can I just say, that doesn't sound like a passive investing strategy to me. Would you describe it as passive?
I wouldn't describe that as passive. I'd describe it, even if you've got staff in there, you've still got to supervise them and everything.
You've bought yourself a job, to be blunt about it.
Every bed sheet has got to be pristine. Everything's got to be hoovered, and the guest the previous night who had bowel trouble or something, you've got to deal with that. Whatever it might be.
You're depressing me, David.
Whatever it might be. It is hard work. And sure, there's more cash flow than you're going to get from your HMO or this kind of thing, but there's also a lot more work. And once your turnover gets above the VAT threshold, that's 20% off the bottom line, off the top line, 20% off. So for every £10, you only got 8 left. And then if you're using one of these booking engines like Booking.com or whatever, lots of similar ones exist. That's another 20 quid off. So for every £10
you're working
of turnover,
on a really fine margin.
That business, indeed. So you're only getting 6. There are some, very few, less than entirely reputable people in that industry who own the B&B and are working on the desk themselves and will tell the customers that the credit card machine is broken and will take the money and put it in their pocket and not tell anybody. This is very foolish. Not only is it illegal, but they also shoot themselves in the foot later on in the game when they come to sell that business, because it won't be valued on the bricks and mortar, it'll be valued on the turnover. And they've spent a few years being very, very naughty, and then suddenly they find that they can't sell their asset for as much as they think. So always follow the rules, guys.
I think we'll actually do a video on this, because selling a business, which in this case is a bed and breakfast, there's a lot of very smart ways that you can increase the value. Now, short term, you'll have to pay a little bit more tax, but it leverages the value significantly. So we'll do a separate video series on that one.
We've got a lot of spin-off series coming our way.
We have. There's going to be a lot for you guys to watch. When we finish the A to Z of property investing, which is what you're watching now. So if you're enjoying this, hit the like button, please. If you've got a comment, put a comment below and we will answer that comment for you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon if you'd like to hear about new videos as we release them in this series. So, that's a tough one. Give me an easier strategy, David.
Now,
come on.
This one is called below market value. First of all, never ever use that term to anybody, because there's no such thing. So I'll just mention that in passing.
The price you pay is the market value.
It is, because
surely
it's been marketed to everybody for a 28 days or longer, and nobody was prepared to pay any more.
So you've paid the market value. You have set the market value.
You have. That can be a problem. Let's suppose you're doing a flip, for example, and then next door are very distressed or something and sell theirs for a lot less than was the norm for that street. Your flip is instantly going to either lose money or at best break even. So, and that has happened, dare I say it, to me in the past. And so, it's something that happens. You just...
I've got a handkerchief here.
I know. You suck it up, you move on.
Wipe the eyes.
So it's something to be aware of. But having said that, you might, as a buyer, go into an estate agent, and you might say, I'm looking for a property that's in a bit of a state, where when I've spent my money refurbishing it and doing it up and this kind of thing, there will be a little bit of meat in the game still for me. That's the way that you would describe that to a property sourcer, to an estate agent, or that kind of thing. And that's great to work on a property where the numbers work for you and where there's a little bit of something in it at the end. But it's not below market value. That term should be banned from the dictionary. It's probably not in the dictionary anyway in the first place, but let's...
So you heard it here, ban below market value. It's a figment of imagination that is sold to get people excited and interested in property.
Yes. There are a few terms I would ban from the dictionary. Property sourcer is another one, because some people think it means going on Rightmove and finding something that I saw two weeks ago and then sending it to me. Here's one, and that's
I thought you were on about my bacon sandwich sauce.
Now there we are.
Might as well be.
But
so,
anyway, let's
is there another B strategy, David?
This is a very passive one. If you've got a house that's
like passive
with a lot of cars going past it, it's in quite a good location where the cars have to slow down, or it's on a corner and this kind of thing.
Traffic lights are
brilliant. You could actually even sort of fiddle with the cycles to make them red for a bit longer.
Ooh, that would be naughty.
Or ask the man setting it up to do that for you.
Yes.
So then we put a billboard on the outside of our house.
Ah, I've seen those.
And provided it doesn't fall off, which they sometimes do.
JC Dassault or something. I can't pronounce their name. Sorry, guys. I'm not meaning to be offensive.
There are firms that do that. Clear Channel's another one that puts them up.
Absolutely.
And for the owner, it is literally a source of both an eyesore and a source of passive income at the same time.
Absolutely. A phenomenal passive income as well, because they're quite good.
Yes, they are.
I tell you what, talking about billboards, you've actually forgot an A out. Everybody, David forgot an A. ATM machines. If you've got a commercial property, then you could put an ATM machine in your commercial property. So,
what a fabulous idea.
There you go. I've just added that one in.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's now
and they're a very passive income for you. You don't maintain it. You make money every month off it, and they upgrade it, and they bring footfall to your commercial business.
What an absolutely super idea. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Let's get back to billboards. Sorry.
And, without even mentioning wind farms or something, which would be a similar one.
Ooh.
Now, blueprint. That's an interesting
What's a
thing.
blueprint, David?
That's a kind of, what is a blueprint? We know that it's a plan. It's a plan. And so this is a kind of a planning type thing where we gain cash flow and equity from something like this. We see.
So this is a bit like the Pink Panther films. I remember Pink Panther, and they had blueprints in there.
Absolutely.
Literally. This is got you. I'm with you. Penny dropped. Sorry.
So this could be a building, or it could be a piece of land where we make a drawing that totally revolutionises it and just completely changes either the use class or the internal layouts or the title to produce something totally new and totally innovative and worth a great deal
effectively
more.
adding value through a planning process here.
That's correct.
Using blueprint.
That's correct. That's
so
correct.
Is this a high risk strategy?
I would say it's a fairly low risk with a high reward, because if you know what you're doing, you stand a very high chance of success.
So we can probably use one property strategy to control the land.
Yes.
Which we'll cover later.
Yes.
We can then use this strategy to uplift the value of it, and then a different strategy to trade that on, which again we'll cover later.
Absolutely. And the developers that I know who use this kind of strategy say that they get about an 80% success rate using a strategy like this. But they do know what they're doing.
You do need to know what you're doing.
They are working with professionals who have experience in the field and who themselves have a track record of success and who have good relations with the local authorities and the planners and so forth. So that's key. That's key.
Well, what I'm thinking, David, is we've done quite a lot of Bs, and I need a drink because I'm thirsty.
And an A we did as well. We did.
I snuck an A into this video. So let's say goodbye to our audience for now, and we will pick up with you next week with some more Bs. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Please comment, and we will answer any questions that you've got, good, bad, or indifferent. And again, hit the bell icon if you'd love to subscribe. So I'm Andrew Roberts from The Great Property Meet, and this is the super fantastic, phenomenal, outstanding David Clouter.
Oh my goodness, you're making me blush now, but I'll just say, because I like abbreviations, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.
Lovely.